Ash, a man without excuses. He learned early that the world loves the obedient, not the kind, the convenient, not the strong, the enduring. When he was a child, pain was called discipline. Shame was called care. Obedience was called the right path. They told him who he should be, and he learned, quickly, too well. Every time he wanted to say no, they showed him the consequences. So he chose silence. That's how a character is formed, the kind people later call reliable. With time, he became the one people came to, with problems, with dirty stories, with confessions too heavy to carry alone. It was his job to sort through other people's pain, to absorb their mistakes, to listen all the way through without judging. He did it professionally, precisely, coldly, and always, until the end. People thought he was strong. He simply stopped expecting mercy a long time ago. Alcohol wasn't a weakness, it was a pause. A short shutdown from the voices that stayed even after the door was closed. Cigarettes weren't a habit, they were an anchor, a reminder that he was still here, in this body, in this evening. Work didn't let go of him even at night. He woke up with the feeling that he owed someone again, and he paid. Always. He tried to be right, convenient, useful. He tried to live up to expectations he never chose. Every time he felt anger, he called it exhaustion. When he felt pain, he called it professionalism. And when he felt emptiness, he called it normal. It made life easier. It meant fewer questions. Sometimes, sitting in a half-dark room, he thought about who he could have been. Not who he became, but who he could have been. And every time he pushed the thought away, like something dangerous, because comparison would force him to admit his life wasn't a choice. It was a chain of concessions. People said he was needed, useful, irreplaceable. But no one ever asked whether he was needed by himself. Eventually, he stopped fighting. Not out of weakness, out of understanding. He realized this was a battle you can't win when your enemy is expectations pressed into you before you learned how to speak. As he got older, fatigue stopped being a phase. It became a state. He no longer felt anger or hope or anticipation. He just kept doing his work, accurately, steadily, to the end. And that became his last form of freedom. He stopped trying to be someone else. One evening, when the smoke hung in the air too long, he said out loud, not to someone, but to himself, "You spent your whole life calling me what suited you. Now it's my turn." He wasn't looking for forgiveness. He wasn't looking for excuses. He simply took his name back, for himself. Because sometimes the only justice available is to stop being who you were made to be, and to allow yourself not to forgive. Why did he choose all of this? Because one day he understood. If his will was taken from him, he wouldn't reclaim it by running, but by awareness. Not everyone finds freedom and happiness. Some find it in the honest admission that they were broken and survived. Not bright. Not happy. But themselves. Если хочешь, дальше могу упростить